This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It is Jake, your host. Spoiler alert for today's episode. This is going to be on your bucket list. I've just given all of my listeners a new bucket list item that is completely doable no matter where you are in life. We are at Lookout Mountain Flight Park, which is the paragliding and hang gliding outfit that is at Lookout Mountain, which is literally like just a hop, skip, and a jump south of Chattanooga. You actually, the way we went, you actually have to go up to Tennessee and then come back down. But you can get there a couple different ways. Funny story. It's funny for me. So I didn't tell my family that what we were doing. I couched it as we're going on a family field trip, which was entirely true. This was about a month ago almost that we went and did this. So it was right at the time where everything was starting to get quarantined and everything like that. But hang gliding is a very quarantine-friendly thing to do because there is nothing coming close to social distancing like hang gliding. You are not with anybody other than the one instructor, and they don't need to be, right in your face for any of this. And two of our family members were absolutely petrified. I mean, terrified. Literally, we were going up the mountain, just kind of zigging and zagging, going up the mountain. And you start seeing the signs for a couple of the things. Ruby Falls is up there. We didn't get a chance to get there just for the sake of time, but you can look up Ruby Falls if you want to have like a fun long weekend and put that on there. That is super close by to Lookout Mountain. We're going up the mountain, and my wife, who's one of the petrified people in the family, she made a sound that I've never heard when she connected the dots of the direction we were turning and the fact that the hang gliding arrow was pointing in that direction. She freaked out a little bit. She did great, though. So what I will tell everybody is they have what is called an introductory experience, which is what we did. If you have anybody in your group that is at all afraid of heights, and the thought of hang gliding is just like going to put them in the corner in the fetal position, do the introductory experience because you literally start out on completely flat ground and then you go like 3, 4, 5 feet up this little hill and you just progressively go higher and higher as you get more comfortable and confident, and you lose the terror of, oh my gosh, I'm flying, to can we go up higher up the hill because I want to fly some more. So we are actually going back this fall, may sometime this summer, but we'll just kind of see how things shake out with our schedules. But the weather conditions weren't great for us actually going up on our tandem flights, and so we're going to have to go back for that. That is part of the introductory experience that they have. It is it's not super expensive. It's not $50 either. But it is such an incredible trip. It's one of those things that your family will remember for the rest of their lives. They're going to want to go back once you do it. So, I'm sorry and you're welcome. It is one of the coolest things in the North Georgia region that I have been to yet. And that's in, my 15 years or so of living in this area. It's absolutely incredible. The guys that are there, the instructors, the guides, they are so sound in their teaching ability, and they're just getting everybody comfortable with where they're at and then helping them progress to where everybody is having so much fun. The fear will be a thing of the past when you get 30 minutes an hour in. I highly, highly encourage you to put it on a bucket list. Hey, put it on your 2020 or 2021 goals. If you're one of those people who writes your goals down, this is a super easy thing to check off the list for you. You know how to find us online, Facebook, Instagram, North Georgia Life Podcast. You can email us, northgeorgialifepodcast@gmail.com. And again, thank you so much for all of you who are sharing this with your friends and neighbors as we're all getting out and meeting our actual neighbors. What a great way to help them get plugged in to some of the things that once we get to travel about freely again, some great things to do over the spring, summer, and fall months that are coming up. With that, we'll get started at Lookout Mountain. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. We're going to try this again. We just had some technical difficulties, but we are at a place that we want to make sure we share the story and give all of our audience an opportunity to experience something that, for a lot of us, is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Some of us, we're gonna have an itch, and this is going to scratch it, and this may become a life passion. But we are at Lookout Mountain Fly Park. I get that right?
Yes, Jake.
Okay. We are just south of Chattanooga, but it doesn't feel south of Chattanooga when you're getting here because you are climbing a mountain, the Lookout Mountain, obviously. And this is a paragliding and hang gliding outfit that is completely unique to our neck of the woods, certainly in the Northeast Georgia area, or the North Georgia area. But this has been on our radar for our family for about 4 months or so, and we just kind of had to find the right time to get away for a short weekend getaway. I've actually kidnapped my family. They didn't know we were coming to do this, so they are going to have such a fun time tomorrow morning when we go out for our introductory experience, which is, we'll talk about, kind of what all you guys have for people in the general public that are complete newbies like us versus other people who may be experienced. We're going to start with, where you came from. So share with us just kind of your backstory of how you found hang gliding.
Well, my father was in the Air Force. He was a career Air Force officer, and he flew airplanes. In fact, he flew P-51s in World War II.
Okay.
And going through the Air Force, we moved around, and I was just enthralled with flight, just really, really enjoyed it. But I really also watched a program called Sea Hunt when I rarely watch TV, and that was about scuba diving, and Mike Nelson, the great scuba diver. So I always wanted to become a scuba instructor. And I followed that path and became one, and led me to the Outer Banks where I had a dive shop. And I would watch, as I was going to the dive boat, I'd watch the hang gliders soar on the dunes. The Kitty Hawk Kites is the place that they worked at, and the dunes were the same dunes that the Wright brothers learned to fly on.
Wow.
So I'd watch these gliders very precisely fly on these dunes with their wingtip inches off the ground, and just like the pelicans flying on my wake of the boat as I was coming back into the inlet. And I really wanted to do that badly. Mm-hmm. Well, the Outer Banks is not a great place for scuba diving. It's very, very strong. The currents are strong. A lot of wrecks to dive on, but you need to be a advanced diver. You can't put an ad in the Skin Diving magazine, and have an open water experience in a quarry and come down and be safe to dive on those wrecks.
Right.
So after babysitting people and really working with them to not panic too much in the strong ocean, I was thinking that this just isn't working out for me. Somebody wanted to buy my part out. I sold it, and at the same time, there was an ad at Kitty Hawk Kites. Hang glide instructor wanted, well trained if qualified. So it was a very fortuitous thing for somebody that wanted to try hang gliding.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that they would pick me. I had prior teaching experience besides scuba diving and swimming and snow skiing and a few other things. So I applied, got the job, and started teaching hang gliding within the next month.
Wow.
So it was great fun, and really became just absolutely head over heels over.
And how long
fun.
ago was that when you started?
1977. Yeah.
Okay. So you got some time under your belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at what point did you make the move to Lookout Mountain? When was that in the?
So I worked for a little over a year and a half at Kitty Hawk Kites, and really couldn't make much money there. It's a very seasonal thing. You've got 100 days to make it. And one of the guys that I taught to scuba dive had a lot of business interests, and I wanted to put a water sports business together. So I talked to him. He financed it. We had a great water sports business. We kept it for one season. At the end of that season, we'd been asked to sell out to this guy that wanted it really bad. To the point where we sold it, so I was footloose and fancy free, and a pretty good hang glider pilot at that point. So my friend up here at a place called Airspace, which was the same launch that we used to have when I first got here, they put on contests, things like the America Cup for hang gliding, and other kind of activities like that. And the Great Race is another one. So he was not making it really. The contest business wasn't that good for hang gliding. So I told him that, I thought you ought to develop your own market, turn it into a school, and et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they invited me in as a partner. I had a year trial. They were profitable the first year. And by 87, I bought everybody out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this has been all yours for decades now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's still amazing. It's still amazing we can do this. It's still amazing we can go out there and fly this glider that we run off the mountain with and get huge altitude gains. I've been 12,400 feet above the mountain.
Wow.
Yeah, and the distance record from here is 165 miles.
Oh my gosh.
And the distance record for hang gliders is 475 miles, and that was a race.
What?
Yes, it was in the New York Times, and it was a
475 miles.
Right, in one day, yep.
Holy cow.
Yep.
So just my logistic geographical curiosities peaked. 165 miles from this mountain, you said was
Yes.
the record?
Yes.
Where does that put you?
Social Circle,
my gosh.
Georgia. Because you have to go around the airspace for the Atlanta International Airport.
Holy cow.
Huntsville.
That, I mean, I got too many questions. I'm like,
Yeah, people have no idea how capable a hang glider is.
Holy
It's
cow.
just amazing. And paragliders, too. Paragliders are pretty amazing as well.
yeah. Maybe somebody should tell Amazon about delivering.
Yeah, that's what I need. You still have to learn how to fly them someplace.
Yeah. So tell us a little about your operation here and what you offer people, from anywhere that are coming here for this operation, and what you guys offer in your outfit. Like I said, we're complete newbies. We've never done any of this before. So you guys have programs for people like us. You have programs for, things to do for people who have, some more experience, kind of like maybe a diver where you get certified, and now you've got maybe some more options for things you can do once you're a certified scuba diver. But tell us a little about what you guys have.
Okay, so basically we have A to Z hang gliding and paragliding. If you want to learn how to hang glide, this is the place to come to. We teach more people than anybody else by a factor of 5. So
Wow.
More people in the country, 5 times more people learn to fly to the novice level here at Lookout Mountain Flight Park than anywhere else in the country or the world.
Wow.
So our whole facilities, our whole program, everything's set up for student success.
Yeah.
So we teach at your own pace, keep it controlled, one step at a time. We have special gliders to learn to fly, and we have aero towing, which is we pioneered first commercial flight park to ever have any aero towing. So in 1984, a gentleman by the name of Gerard Thévenot came over from France, and he had a aircraft that we call a trike, and it was basically a tricycle landing gear, and it looked like a hang glider, but it's much heavier duty. And with that trike, you could pull up a hang glider. And so I just knew that would be the best thing, because what happens is the weather, as you'll see possibly tomorrow, the weather allows us to do this or doesn't allow this. So we're very much dependent on the weather. So aero towing gives us a lot more wind directions, and it gives us the ability to fly when it's early in the morning. This is an afternoon site typically. Yeah. So a lot of times in the morning the wind is blowing down, it's tailing, and that's not, we want to launch into the wind. So having the aero tow capability allows us to pull people up out of the landing zone, fly tandem with them. I've done a bunch of tandem flights off the mountain, and the conditions have to be within a very narrow range to make it a reasonable risk.
Is that just because of the weight difference?
No, it's because you're running with somebody, and people say they want to do it, and then when they get to the edge of the cliff, they change their minds. So we used to have butt pushers, so that when they changed their mind, because you had too much momentum to stop.
Yeah.
So
That's where the 10-foot pole comes in.
Yeah, exactly. So the glider, if you look at this picture on the wall, you see the glider has landing gear on it. So it's so much more civilized to take off on wheels and be pulled up by a little light plane.
Yeah.
And then get to altitude, release, fly around, and then land. We can actually schedule flights.
Gotcha.
And last year we did over 4,000 flights.
Wow.
And tandem flights, yes.
So again, curiosity question, that trike, was that designed for pulling the hang gliders, or is it just something you saw and was like, we could use that for this?
Well, we're not using the trikes, but that's what it started. That's how aero towing started, and Gerard Thevenot did start it.
Okay.
It was a company that they built wings for. Lamouette built the wings for a company called Cosmos, and they built these ultralight trikes, and over there they call them microlights. And these things have flown around the world by now, and they had two-stroke engines and quite powerful, and you could tow up a hang glider with it.
Wow.
And they didn't really tow. Tandem wasn't much of a thing at that point. That was '84. I'd been dabbling in tandem, and a few other people had been dabbling in tandem, but we didn't have a specific tandem glider.
Yeah.
So Will's Wing has built an awesome tandem glider, and we've been training that way, just like you would learn how to fly an airplane with the instructor right next to you. And that's a great way to do it. We also have training hills like you're going to do tomorrow.
Right.
So the training hills work like learning to snow ski. You start on a bunny hill, you learn how to run with the glider, you learn how to launch the glider. We learn light hands, so we want really light hands so that you're not diving the glider or climbing the glider too steep.
Right.
And we're going to be flying in still enough conditions so that we don't have to worry much about it turning. So then you build on those experiences until you can graduate to the big hill when you're able to take off without assistance by the instructor, so the instructor isn't telling you anything. Basically, as instructors, we're guides. We show you what to do. We show you how to do it. And then we coach you on how you're doing it.
Yeah.
So when you're able to have good solid takeoffs, good airspeed control, come in and then land like a bird on a wire on your feet, you're able to do that consistently. Then we're able to go to a larger hill where we have more altitude.
Right.
You can learn to do turns, left and right, 45s, a single 45, a single 90, then link turns 45 to the left, 45 to the right, a 90 to the right, a 90 to the left, and then a speed run, and then you graduate and you fly off of here for first flight.
Wow.
And so in between that, the integrated approach is to fly with a instructor flying tandem, so we can show you what the approach looks like. We can show you how to tighten the approach, how to lengthen the approach. We can show you how to stay inside the field for the whole approach. So we have a very large landing field. It's 2,000 feet long. We land airplanes in there, larger airplanes, plus our tow planes.
Wow.
And so we can train you to a very high level.
Does it ever feel mundane? I've asked a few people that are in that just specific geographic, a friend of mine his office just has this, he's on the top of a mountain. And I said, does this view ever get old? And he said, no.
No, it never gets old.
No,
the view is awesome.
Yeah.
And the working with people is great. Like every business owner, you've got issues, and those issues are work. They're work. But the flying and the teaching and the working with people and working with other instructors, that's all wonderful.
Any favorite memories you've had from your time here? You've had quite a time here.
Oh, there's just so many experiences. It's just amazing. I mean, between flying with Eagles to taking different people tandem that we're just blown away. And
you ever had any celebrities you've taken?
Yeah, we've taken and trained quite a few of them actually.
Any ones for actual movies they were doing?
They weren't doing it for a movie. No,
okay, they were just doing it for themselves. Right. Can you name drop any of them?
I'll tell you about Billy Campbell, the guy that did Rocketeer. So he came here and we taught him to fly, and he flew off our mountain, and
cool.
He has a hang glider here. And
really?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool.
So that was great. He's a great guy, and did very well with it.
Anything over the next 5 to 10 years that you guys kind of have on your radar of things you want to do? You want to grow programs, do things differently. You guys, where you want to be as far as what you offer and your programs? We
would like to. Hang gliding has dropped off as paragliding has come on.
Uh-huh.
So the people like me that are aged out haven't been replaced. The younger people have gone to paragliding. Hang gliders are more capable and beat paragliders everywhere except portability. So paragliders have very good light lift performance, and so the micro lift area, I think they're probably superior. Or if they're not, they're really, really close to being superior. Really good hang glider pilot against a really good paraglider pilot. It'd be interesting to see who would be on top. But as soon as you want to go from point A to point B, the hang glider's got way more speed.
Yeah.
And way better glide. However, if you can't climb, if you can't stay in the air, you're not going anywhere. So the micro lift ability of the paraglider is really good. So they're both excellent, with hang gliders having a formed wing that has a frame, has safety benefits, I believe, and with its speed range, you can fly in higher winds. If the weather gets bad and the winds pick up, you've got a better handle on how to deal with it with a hang glider than a paraglider.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see a big return to hang gliding.
Yeah.
I'd like to see hang gliding come back stronger. And I think it's just a matter of having more people teaching it. Again, everybody saw the new thing would be paragliding, and they're going to jump to that and stop training hang gliding. And then the people that ran the schools for hang gliding are all in their 50s and 60s, except for people that have worked here and now moved on.
Yeah.
We just, our operations manager and our lead tandem pilot just started a school, Wasatch Wings, at Point of the Mountain, Utah.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so I'm hoping for more of that. I'm hoping for more people that, were dedicated instructors and know the business here, move on and go out and repopulate the schools that used to be prevalent everywhere. Yeah. Because hang gliding is an amazing thing. It really is.
Yeah. It's one of those things that as I kind of just talk with people in general, I have become a big just goal setter for each year, because there's a million studies out there that basically say if you just write down your goals, you are 90% likely to achieve them. And so I tell everybody, I'm like, well, you'd kind of be stupid not to write down some goals, because those are things you would want to achieve for your own life or to do in your own life. And it is an amazing thing once you start doing it, that some of the things that you kind of can't control kind of seem to start gravitating towards you. But then there's other things like this. Like this was one of my goals for 2020, was to take our family hang gliding. And when you write it down and you're looking at it on a constant basis, you're just like, okay, what do we need? We need a place. We need to figure out what it's going to cost. We need to figure out a date, and we just need to book it. And the great thing that you guys have here is you have places to stay as well. So if people can't find accommodations, somewhere around, you guys have, and that's where we're staying tonight. You guys have accommodations that people can stay regardless of kind of what size party they're in. Has that always been part of the property? Did you have that when you started? Or you just kind of acquire this?
No, there was nothing down there.
Okay.
And we've built all of it.
You built all this?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yes, we've got quite the little community of hang glider pilots that live here. And then there are a bunch of rentals, and there's an RV park. And close by there's Scenic Mountain log cabins, and they've got a capability to house a lot more people than we do. Yeah.
It was clear you had, and you've got videos and stuff like that on your website as well, where you can see, some of the levels of training and, hey, put this on, strap this in, and we're going to jump off the side of a mountain. There is the ramping up, just very similar to skiing, like you said, where you're getting comfortable in a level of competence where you lose some of that initial fear of, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's totally step by step.
Yeah.
And people struggle or have trouble during the process, then we have different ways around that. So we can work with just about any situation.
Cool.
So yeah, our goals are to continue doing what we're doing, to continue to train excellent instructors, continue to have a great safety record, work on making it even safer, work on making it easier designed actually saw in Europe a way to teach using a four-wheeler, and with two turnaround pulleys, you're driving the four-wheeler like 20 feet right behind the glider. We designed a large control frame with the same kind of landing gear that the tandem glider has, so that you don't even have to pick the glider up. And we're hoping to transition to all of our first day people will be using that if we get it up and ready in time. We need the field to be drier than it is. It's so squishy right now.
Yeah.
The four-wheeler would tear it up. But we need like two four-wheelers. We'll have another glider soon with a tall control frame, and we'll be able to handle probably 4 or 5 new people per day with that setup for your first day. So your first day, the instructor actually controls how high you are. If you're not doing something right, he can set you right back down.
Yeah.
So it can be really controlled, not controlled to the point of a zip line, but almost.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we're looking to make flying more accessible to more people and to make it easier and safer. The other thing is that your angle of attack on the wing as you run down the hill is, I won't say critical, but it's certainly important.
Yeah.
So if your angle is too high, it's not going to get off the ground. If it's too low, it's not going to get off the ground. It doesn't have to be just right, but it's got to be within 5 degrees.
Yeah.
So you've got to manage that angle, and we're going to practice that in our ground runs tomorrow. But then you're going to have to duplicate that to get in the air. And the four-wheeler, it's already set at the right angle with a tall control frame. So you just run along with it and have a light touch, and you're in the air.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I've got high hopes to make that, make the whole experience a lot easier for people, and they'll be more successful. And through that, they'll see that they can do it and they can enjoy it. And once you are able to, it's like tunnel vision on anything new, right? You know, I always like to tell my instructors that learning something new is humiliating. And, you know, when people are young, they're in a learning mode, and it maybe isn't humiliating. Like your boys, I saw your boys.
Right.
They're going to do great.
Yeah.
You know, it's like almost unfair to work with.
It is. I hate it already.
Yeah. We teach a lot of college-age kids, and man, I tell you, they're so easy to teach.
Yeah, shut up and pay taxes.
Exactly. And then we have these cadets, these Navy cadets, kids that they're younger than a real cadet at Annapolis or something, but they have this Sea Cadet program, and they're all so driven and motivated. They're younger. How old are your boys?
So they're 17 to 19.
Right. So they're a little bit older than the Sea Cadets.
Right. Okay.
And so the Sea Cadets are out there, and you know, they just tough it out, whatever it is. Like if they're small and slight, they never complain, and they just work hard and keep going at it. But as we get older and as we start doubting ourselves, as we start running down a hill, I mean, when's the last time you've run down a hill as fast as you can?
Yeah.
That's a perfect time to have a disaster, right? so fall on your face.
Yeah.
So, you know, the glider will fly you, and developing that trust and that commitment are important to get off the ground. So I'm hoping this new, I am positive, actually, I'm going to fly my dog with it this summer. I'm positive that I will show people how
That's
easy
hilarious.
it is by flying my dog. But we will be able to control people getting in the air and landing. We'll be able to control that. So if the air is smooth, we'll be able to fly people, you know, the length of our runway if we want.
Awesome. Before we wrap up, I like to do a question in every episode I call the lightning round question, which has nothing to do with anything, but I thought this one was appropriate since you are in at least part of the thrill-seeking world. So I call this the Thrilogy Trilogy. So, so which is the better trilogy, The Matrix, Lord of the Rings, or Kung Fu Panda?
I think The Matrix.
Okay. I just started watching it again. I think it's on Netflix. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a good series.
It's amazing.
Oh, man.
And I have to be honest, I haven't seen Kung Fu Panda.
I hadn't either. I just know there's 3 of them.
Lord of the Rings is interesting, but it's not like
it's not the
Matrix.
Same. Yeah. Well, cool. Before we wrap up, how do people find you online, on Facebook? How do they connect with asking questions and getting set up with time to fly?
Hangglide.com on the website.
Okay.
Also, you can look under flylookout.com. You can look us up at flylookout.com. Both of those URLs work.
Okay.
And has everything laid out. We've got a Corona special right now for tandems, for people wanting to get some fresh air and do some really good social distancing.
Yes.
So, if you're going stir crazy yet, you can go look us up on that. But it's amazing we can do this. I mean, it's amazing. We have so many people that have flown tandem with a bald eagle under our wing.
Wow.
You know, and they're looking at you, you're looking at them, and the view is spectacular. It's not like a roller coaster ride, although it could be if you wanted to be.
Right.
And it's the closest and purest form of flight there is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm excited about tomorrow. I think my wife's terrified, but she's going to love it. So,
yeah, she will.
I told her 2020 is the year to conquer fear. So yeah, we're she doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, she's thinking, go conquer your own fear.
All right. So we'll wrap up, and thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jake.
Awesome. This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live.